Figures from the exchange. The market is starting the week in green plus 1.6%. The likes of Tantalizers, FBNH, John Holt, Multiverse, and Sooner Ashore are on the gainers list. We have Entrance Act, we have Unity Bank, Omatech, RT Briscoe on the losers chart. Mr. Mukhtar Mohammed, CEO Finance with Mukhtar, starts the week with me talking market. Mr. Mohammed, two-in-one question. The market is starting in green despite all challenges we've seen. Put it side by side with the submission of the CBN governor. I know you've read that speech. You've seen that speech. You monitored the event. How do you see this affecting confidence or building that expected confidence in the market moving forward, Mr. Mohammed?
Yes, I followed that speech, though I have not finished reading the 40-page document. When I followed that speech, I think that speech was more or less like a general speech. I'm waiting for details on some of those numbers. Building a $1 trillion economy is not child play, and the key drivers of those $1 trillion economy is always the Nigerian stock market. Hopefully, we'll see that transfer.
Are you there, Mr. Mohammed? All right, maybe we'll try to reconnect with Mr. Mohammed to give his views on trading patterns for the market today. But before then, let's tell you that Asian shares slipped today ahead of a potentially market-moving inflation data from the United States and Europe later in the week. At a meeting of all producers that could stop or extend the recent slide in prices. The approach of the month end could cause some caution, given the hefty gains investors are sitting on. Japan's Nikkei is 0.5%, but was still up 8.4% so far in November. MSCI's broadest index of Asian Pacific shares outside of Japan lost 0.4%, giving it a monthly gain of 6.3%. Chinese blue chips fell another 0.8% and have missed out on all the global share, with the market down 1.8% in November so far. Eurostock 50 features is 0.3%, while FTSE features similarly fell 0.3%. S&P 500 features is 0.2%, and Nasdaq features lost 0.4%. The S&P 500 cash index has rallied for 4 weeks straight and is up 8.7% on the month so far, which would be its best performance since mid-2022. All right, Mr. Mohammed is back there. You were making a point before we lost contact. Can you go ahead?
Yeah, so what I'm telling you is that the market is responding positively to the CBN governor's policy statement itself for the financial sector. We have seen gain in the financial sector. Almost all the financial stocks are up today. Some of them are selling at a new height. So definitely that tells you that the speech of the CBN, especially in the financial space, are being received positively, especially with the tier one banks that most people know is highly capitalized, above the $1 trillion. Some of them are making $1 trillion profit already. So I think the message has been received. Now, like I say, we have those messages, received those messages. Now it's now time to come up with the nitty-gritty of how we are going to achieve what is the recapitalization drive, how many banks will survive this recapitalization drive, are we going to see more merger and acquisition? We will see some banks coming to the market. What way would they want to come to the market? I think the market is already pricing in on some of this equity by coming to the market.
Interesting stuff. Are you worried in any way, talking about the bank's recapitalization? That has been headlines and comments have been pouring in with regards to this. What's your take with the stability and, of course, the resilience we've seen with regards to our banking sector in general?
Yeah, Tulu, I would have been worried if today the market has responded negatively.
Wow.
And you see all the bank shares coming down, then I would have said, yes, there's an issue. But when you see a policy statement from a stakeholder or a head of a big institution like the CBN, and you see the market respond positively, and you see some of this banking sector selling at their all-time high, that tells you that those policy documents, those speeches from the CBN governor was received positively. Now, we talk about market capitalization. I can assure you, with the exception for the Tier 2 bank, and in the Tier 2 bank, bank like Fidelity and FCMB are still within the 400 and something billion. But we talk about First Bank, you talk about GTCO, you talk about Zenith Bank, you talk about Access Bank, you talk about UBA, they are already above the 1 trillion mark in terms of shareholders' funds. So if they are coming to the market will, they are earning per share. Most of them, the lowest earning per share in the Tier 1 bank is about 12 naira per share. So they are still cheap. They are still going to attract more investors. The liquidity ratio of the Tier 1 banks, especially these banks I mentioned, are still very, very strong. My fear is in those other banks. Will there be merger? Will there be acquisition? Will there be swallowed up by the big bank? That is my fear. But for the financial sector stability, liquidity is still very high. I am very confident that there's no any need to panic.
CEO Finance with Mukhtar, Mr. Mukhtar Mohammed, thank you for starting the week with us with market analysis. We appreciate this.